So we got to move on. Okay. Trivia question for you, Gordon. Twanisha Terry, she competed for 3 seasons where she actually was able to run in championships. Her best events were the 60 indoors and the 100-meter outdoors. 3 years, 2 events. So she had 6 opportunities. How many times in those 6 opportunities did she finish in the top 3?
How many? I don't know.
5. She got 1 win, 2 seconds, and 2/3. Only 1 time in her career did she miss out on the top 3 in either the 60 final or the 100 final. She comes to play when championships are on the line. She ran a great race back in Des Moines at the 2019 U.S. Championships. The only real time she got a shot at a U.S. team in the prime part of her career. I think she can make this team. We talked about Sturgis, but Terry ran really well as well too, 10.79 with that plus 2.2 wind. I think Terry's going to make this team.
I like your little deep dive. I'm like, you kind of, it's like, it's not about the wins. It's about being top 3, and she's really good at being top 3.
Consistent.
It's nice.
She's consistent, right? She's just solid. She's always there. And I thought, man, this is because she lost out to Sturgis. Indoors, she lost out to Nelson. She always loses out to people who have these otherworldly races. You know, going back to 2019, she finishes behind Sha'Carri Richardson when she got 3rd. Sha'Carri Richardson has a huge race. Like, Terry could have won any one of these races, but she's always there. She never falls apart. I think she's going to get top 3 in the 100. I know we're not doing picks yet, but that's my pick. Other person, Brandon Miller. You talked about him. Finished just behind Jewett. So if you're going to talk about Jewett, I think you got to talk about Miller. 144.97. Anybody who's sub 145, I think, has a chance.
Yeah, Miller's kind of interchangeable with Jewett. And I think the combination, I think Isaiah Harris, Jewett, Miller, Sawinski, Brandon Kidder, they're all just like a conglomerate going up against Clayton Murphy. It's that group of 5 guys trying to take down Murphy for one of those 2 spots, for that final spot in the top 3. So, and Miller's one of those guys. I mean, he's young. I think it's cool seeing Miller do well though, because he was so good, and like he was like the age group guy, right? At AAU and doing all these things, and everyone's like, is he going to get burnt out? And he kind of had a subpar senior year, and you're like, ooh, did he use up all of his talent too early in his career? But now you couldn't ask for a better freshman season from him. I mean, it's one of an all-time great freshman seasons. Like, it would have been impressive if he just ended his freshman year with like a 147 and then like continue to progress. But to end your freshman year with a 144, that's just wild. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, Yared Nuguse. Again, if we're talking about Hawker, Nuguse was not far behind. I think he's got the standard, so you don't need to worry about that. He can just worry about racing. The attention, I think, will be off of him more, because if you're looking for a collegian, you're going to be talking more about Hawker because he got the win. If you're looking at just the event as a whole, well, you have Matt Centrowitz there, who obviously gets a lot of the headlines, which allows Nuguse, Gordon, to fly a bit under the radar, which is weird because he's the collegiate record holder. But I think he's going to go into this race with absolutely nothing to lose. And I know you've been big on Nuguse all year. What do you think his shot is?
I think his shot is equal to the shot that Hawker has, like exactly equal. I think they're both interchangeable. I don't think one is favored over the other. I think we should just talk about Nuguse and Hawker in the exact same conversation as like the elite college guy. And I think they equally have a legitimate chance, not just a beyond legitimate. Like, I'd say they are. I think Centro is the only one that's like favorite / lock, but I would put Hawker, Nuguse, and Craig Engels all at an equal betting odds, to be honest.
The way to think about it is, hey, if everybody in this race had their best race, would they qualify? And with not Hucker and Nagus, you can make a strong argument. You don't need to do too many what ifs. Oh, they can make it if this person underperforms or the race goes a certain ways. No, if everybody's at their best, Hucker and Nagus are going to be right there with those guys. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't think you can count out Nagus. It would not surprise me at all if he finishes ahead of Hucker, he finishes ahead of Coubertier, if he gets top 3. That would not surprise me in the least. All right, 2 more I want to get to real quick. Tania Marshall, who scratched the high hurdles. I don't know if we saw why, but you talked about the high hurdle list before, and it's worth repeating that she is at the top of it. So if she's able to come back, I think she could make the team. And then the 400, the men's 400, beyond Randolph Ross, I'm not going to count out Noah Williams or Bryce Deadman.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 400. I think Williams was my guy for that top 3 all the way up until he got beat by Randolph Ross. So Dedham's legit. I think we could see now we'll talk about it with Freddie Curley not there. I could see it be Norman and 2 college kids making that 400-meter team.
Mm-hmm. Justin Robinson as well in there too. Because the 400 team now is a little bit open because Fred Curley is not